So as I described in the previous topic of where I get my information is my I am presence. And I have been working on this for years. As I mentioned, I started getting information, writing articles around 20 years ago, doing videos, sharing information, and so on. Through the process of me actually sharing information, allowing the information to flow, is how I have actually strengthened the connection that I have with my I am presence, more of my eternal self. If I was not opening my mouth and allowing this information to sharing this information and so on, I probably would not be having the ability to share the information I have. I would probably not know myself to the degree that I have now if I was not connecting to a greater degree and allowing that information to flow through videos, through writing, and so on. So I'm not basically saying that everyone needs to do videos. Everyone needs to talk about, information coming from their I am presences and so on. There's other ways to let the information flow. You can writing in a journaling. A lot of people do that. Journaling, say the main point of your intention is connecting with your I am presence and allowing that information to flow, getting to know the voice of your I am presence to greater and greater degrees through that writing, through the intention of I am connecting with my I am presence, more of my authentic self, my divine self to a greater degree. That is your intention. Through that intention, it opens up that information to be able to flow with greater ease. The same way, basically, if you were creating music, of course, you can come up with a plan to create music. You can sort of take some examples and you can create off other people's music. What I'm talking about is actually when you sit down to create music and you have nothing within your awareness, you have nothing within your mind, and then you ask to say your I am presence to allow the information to flow. And then you start to creating some music of whatever instrument that is. And the information will just come to you. That's what a lot of musicians, when they have nothing within their mind, and then they basically sit down and then they start allowing the information to come. Next thing they know, they've created a whole song. And they did not have that information within their brain up until that point. So it came in, they channeled the information from somewhere. All information comes from somewhere. So the same thing goes, another example of letting the information flow is to say if you had a blank canvas and you had the painting, all the colors being able to paint right in front of you, and you had your canvas, and you cleared your mind 100%. And you say, I connect with my own presence. I'm going to share, or I'm going to create a picture that represents something that's very important to me now, coming from my I am presence. Then you start just painting, and you see whatever it is that you create at that time. The main thing is you didn't have any real information within your mind at that time. You just started allowing the information to come through. You allowed it to flow, and therefore you created that picture that you had no idea about before you sat down. The same thing with the music, the same thing with the journaling, the same thing with me actually opening my mouth and allowing the information, the knowledge of who I truly am to flow. That is how we build more of the connection with our eternal self. That is how more of the knowingness comes, and we integrate more of that knowingness is through the process of that connection and allowing to flow. It's not going to come in. This information of who and what we truly are is not just going to come in to our awareness and for us to truly know more of our eternal existence while we're holding on to fear, while we're holding on to all these beliefs and restrictions and these structures and all these different things that we've created around our awareness. How is that information supposed to come in if we do not take action through our intention of connecting to a greater degree with our eternal self, more of our eternal divine knowingness? It takes action. It doesn't take beliefs. It takes the knowingness of having the willingness to connect to a greater degree of who and what we truly are. So, as I've shared in this update, how and where we get information is extremely important during these days of building greater discernment of what is true and what's not. If you wish to have greater discernment, then my suggestion is to connect to a greater degree with your I Am Presence. There is no greater power or more important thing for you to connect with and or get to know to a greater degree right now than your I Am Presence, your eternal, authentic, divine self. There's nothing more important. Find out the best way that is for you to connect and allow that information to flow, however it comes to you and whatever works the best for you at the specific time. It doesn't mean that you can do painting one time, then you might make some music, then you might do some journaling, then you might freaking just start talking, and then information might come that you're like, had no idea about before you started talking. Information came from somewhere, my friends. It came from somewhere. All information comes from somewhere. It's a matter of you identifying where it's coming from. Become more aware where it's coming from. When your ego starts talking, you have the choice to listen to your ego or not, my friends.